No, that's right. Well, we heard Rob Oakeshott. Another interested party in all of this is, of course, the Greens and their lower house MP, Adam Bandt, joins us this morning. Adam Bandt, thank you for joining us. Now, Julia Gillard's set to retain the leadership today with a fairly strong win in the caucus meeting. Is that a good thing as far as the Greens are concerned?
Well, I think that the agreement and the working arrangement we've had up till now has delivered and is on the verge of delivering more. We're getting dental into Medicare, for example, and making some strides towards that in the budget. So I think if it continues and we have a 3-year stable and effective and progressive government, I think it's a good thing.
Well, Kevin Rudd has argued that he is best to stop Tony Abbott becoming Prime Minister and points to the polls which all show that he is more popular. Surely from the Greens' perspective, stopping Tony Abbott from becoming Prime Minister is a pretty important thing too.
It is, and the best way to do it is to vote Greens. I mean, one of the messages from all of this is that if you want a stable and effective and progressive alternative to Tony Abbott, vote Greens. I mean, you know what we stand for.
Looking pragmatically at how politics works. In forming a majority government, it's Labor that's going to do that, not the Greens. So, isn't there an argument that having Kevin Rudd as leader would increase those chances? Well,
I was a bit concerned to hear Kevin Rudd talking about taking out one of the key planks of the climate change legislation that we've negotiated, potentially tinkering with it in a way that would bring forward into this Parliament, where Tony Abbott has some sway, potential repealing of some of the laws. And I think if Labor thinks its way to get to majority government is by another climate backflip, then I think that would be a concern to us.
That's pretty strong words, because he's talking about bringing forward the floating emissions trading scheme part of this. You see that as breaking the deal and reneging on the commitment?
Well, I think it amends a key plank of the scheme. There were a lot of people sitting around the table with a lot of differing point of view. What we did was negotiate a scheme that worked for everyone, gives us enough time to transition before we go to a fully flexible scheme. And during that time, the newly established Climate Change Authority is to come in and set targets about where we're going to go in the future to meet our 80% by 2050 cut. Now, if all of a sudden we truncate all of that and bring it all forward, that potentially throws all that in the air, and that's why I'm concerned.
Given the circumstances of the global economy at the moment, and the European price has tanked, the carbon price, doesn't it make sense to actually move to a floating price sooner? It would remove the price from a fixed price of about $23 down to $11, and that'd be more palatable for industry at the moment. Doesn't it make sense? One
of the best things that we could do for industry and that's hurting industry the most is the high Australian dollar, and you ask them and they'll tell you that themselves. And there's things that we could do about that, like pass a proper mining tax or establish a sovereign wealth fund, both things that orthodox economists who wouldn't ordinarily line up with the Greens are calling for. And in fact, one of the disappointments I have about everything that's going on at the moment is that we're not debating those bigger issues, and it's tough to get airtime. The
carbon price, $23, way above anything else in the rest of the world, particularly the European price. A floating price would see a more realistic
Well, it certainly wasn't when it was set, and if there's an arrangement reached at the moment that fixes Greece, then there's every chance that in a couple of months it'll be back up and even potentially above it. I mean, it was set.
You really think the European price will be back up above $23?
Well, it was set based on the best trajectories about the time that we move over to a floating scheme. What will the price be then? And I think we're on track to achieve that. But I mean, let's not forget why we're doing all of this. We're doing all of this because the scientists tell us we have to completely decarbonise our economy by 2040 within a couple of decades. And if we don't start now, it's going to get much more expensive in a few years' time.
All right, Adam Bandt, Greens MP, thank you for joining us.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Now, David Lipson.